Hello. It is still Friday, lunchtime. On my way to grab a bite to eat. And why not throw in an extra chat today? This one might be a bit quicker than some of the others. But just quickly wanted to talk about my take on legacy weapons. Weapons of legacy. Weapons of history. Now, there have been a lot of takes on legacy weapons through the years, and I'm making use of some of what's been around in the past. I know there was a massive book in 3rd edition, 3.5 possibly, about them. But I've kind of altered it and put my own take on it. So, I figured why not share what I'm going to be doing. What I'm looking at is a legacy weapon has a number of criteria. And depending on how many of the criteria you meet is going to determine how well you fit with the weapon. Now, the first one that I've come up with is one that one of my players will be starting with. The Blade of Davin Tower. Now, for anyone who just picks up this sword, it is a masterwork longsword. Now, in 5th edition, masterwork doesn't mean much. But basically what it would amount to is if anyone tried to pick up this weapon and sell it, it is a very ornate, intricate blade. It's a longsword worth 3,000 gold. It is silver, so that is something to it. That will provide a small amount of benefit, even if you don't attune to anything else about it. But the closer you are to what it is looking for, the more the blade becomes. So what are we talking about here? If you are a Knight of Aras, Aras being the primary country in the setting that I'm designing, the Knights being the local protectors of that place. If you are a Knight of Aras, then the blade gets a non-magical +1 to attack. Great, it's something. If you are a Davenport, if you are part of the Davenport family, if you have Davenport Blood, you get a non-magical +1 to damage. Now, that does mean that if you are a Davenport who is a knight, you get +1 to hit and +1 to damage. The equivalent of a magical weapon, but it is not magic. It is silver. Again, nice, but, and this is where it kind of starts to get interesting, if you are a Davenport and you are a knight, not only do you unlock those two benefits, but at that point, when you are attuned to the blade begins to gain experience. Now, the blade only gains experience for enemies which you attack and or kill with the blade. It doesn't gain experience for everything that the party encounters. It does not gain experience if you use a different weapon. For the blade to gain experience, it has to strike the enemy while you're the one holding it. That does mean that it will get a slower progression than a character, for example, would. But that is intentional. That is part of the intended design that I've set up, because the blade is not going to have a top level of 20. The blade is going to cap out at level 10. Now, what does a blade gain from experience. There will be a number of unlockable powers for the weapon. As it levels up, the blade will go from a non-magical weapon to a +1 weapon to a +2 weapon, eventually becoming a +3 weapon. The weapon will also gain the Defender ability as it levels. Now, the Defender ability is one that I've nicked from 3rd edition. I don't think that I've seen it in 5th edition. Maybe I have. I don't really remember exactly. What is this guy doing? He's being an idiot. Answer my own question there. The Defender ability basically says that at the start of your turn, you can take the magical plus of your weapon and decide to add it to your armor instead of your attack. It's a handy thing to have. It's also going to gain I believe, an ability to deal fiery damage or radiant damage, I believe. Radiant damage. The traditional kind of flaming blade of the night. It's also going to unlock the ability to cast a commune spell. Except instead of targeting a deity, this commune is going to target the ancestors of the Davenport family. So it will gain these abilities, and these abilities will become more powerful as it levels up. I'm going to pause the video now because I'm just about to order my food, and I'll pick back up in a minute. Alright, I'm back. Got my food. Time to loop back around to the office so that I can sit and eat it. While I'm doing that, finishing off, the last thing that will happen to the legacy weapon is that when it finally reaches 10th level, the blade will awaken. This is a sentient weapon. However, its sentience is not revealed until you actually do what is required of you with it. The other thing that I did not mention in the course of this is the rituals. Now, what I mean is, as the blade levels up, there will be a number of rituals which you need to accomplish with it. As an example, the first ritual with the Davin blade, I believe I said, is that you must return to the ancestral castle of the Davin family, and you must wash the blade in water that is taken from the fountain at the castle of the knighthood. So basically you have to go to the knights, you have to... I hate this intersection. You have to go to the knights. They have to give you permission to take water from their fountain. You take that water, you go back to Davenport Castle, you put the blade next to the statue of the first Lord of Davenport, you wash it in this holy water, then you pray and you have an introspective evening in that small temple area. Once you've done that, you take the blade out, you reveal it to the dawn, and as you reveal it to the dawn, its powers begin to awaken. Each of the rituals, as you progress, there's 3 of them, is unique, different, requires different things, it requires different actions, and each gets progressively harder. What this does is it means that this weapon can stay with an adventurer through their entire adventuring career if they are willing to put the time in and invest into that weapon in order to awaken it. You know, a +3 defending weapon that deals additional radiant damage, and is sentient and has abilities of its own, is quite a nice item. But you have to actually put an effort in to get it there. You don't just get handed it. And that's kind of the idea that I'm going with for the legacy weapons, is they are items that were powerful, but their original owner has died. They have gone dormant, and it takes actions by someone who fits, who reminds the weapon of their original owner in order to stir the weapon out of its slumber. So that's all we've got for today. Just a little bit of a bonus video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, all the normal stuff. And I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll have another chat then.